Okay, our next topic is temperature and heat. So we have here a thermometer, of course. So under temperature, we have temperature scales, and thermometers. So what is temperature? So it is the degree of heat as an inherent quality of objects expressed as hotness or coldness relative to something else. So the average kinetic energy of all the molecules in a material. So the higher the average kinetic energy means the higher temperature. Okay, so when objects are heated or cooled, some of their properties change. So thermometric property is a physical property that changes with temperature. A change in thermometric property indicates a change in temperature. So we have here the zeroth law of thermodynamics, which states that if two objects are in thermal equilibrium with a third, then they are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So two objects are defined to be at the same temperature if they are in thermal equilibrium with each other. The zeroth law it will enable us to define a temperature scale and make a thermometer. Any any thermometric property can be used to establish a temperature scale. For example, is the expansion of mercury. So a scale is established by identifying the ice point temperature or the normal freezing point, which is 0 degrees Celsius, and the stream point temperature or the normal boiling point of water, which is 100 degrees Celsius, and then dividing the difference into an finite range of degrees. This is done at 1 atmospheric pressure. So these are the temperature scales in Celsius and Fahrenheit. So I will not be discussing how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit because we have that in your calculator. We also have the absolute temperature, which is Kelvin. So this is triple point of water, which has a value of 273.15 Kelvin. So triple point of water is the unique temperature at which water vapor, and ice coexist in equilibrium. So the pressure here is 4.58 uh, mmHg and 0.01 degrees Celsius. So this is measured by constant volume gas thermometers. This scale is independent of any substance and with no limitations to the temperature that can be measured. So, okay, these are the conversions, but you can actually use your calculator if you are going to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius. So, the most basic conversion for that we will going to calculate is from Celsius to Kelvin or Kelvin to Celsius. We either add or subtract 273.15 to make Celsius to Kelvin or Kelvin to Celsius. So, thermometer is a device which measures temperature or temperature gradient using a variety of different principles, which includes the thermometer or thermometric property. So we have here a clinical thermometer on the left side, and on the right side is Galileo thermometers. Thermal expansion. So when the temperature of an object increases, the object usually expands. So this is also based on the thermometric property. So there are three kinds of thermal expansion. Number one is linear thermal expansion, volumetric thermal expansion, and aerial thermal expansion. So in linear thermal expansion, we consider a rod of length L at a temperature T. If it's headed to a change in the temperature, L will also have a change. So this is the formula. So L is equal to alpha LO delta T, or the final length is equal to the original length plus the alpha times the original length times the change in temperature. So the alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion. So the unit is Kelvin raised to negative 1 and degrees Celsius raised to negative 1. The volumetric thermal expansion let's consider a substance of volume L at a temperature T. If it is heated to have a change in temperature, the volume will also have a change. So in general, the change in volume is equal to beta times the original volume times the change in time. So beta is the coefficient of volume expansion. So these are the average coefficients of expansion for some materials near room temperature. So again, you can also find this on the internet. We have here some problems to try on thermal expansion. So we did not include the aerial thermal expansion on this lecture. So here are the solutions. So for problem 1, a copper wire with length 2 centimeters at 256 Kelvin is heated to 356 Kelvin. What is the final length of the copper wire? So let's write the given and then required. So from the equation, we can derive the formula there, and then our final length is 2.0034 centimeters. So we have a super minimal change in length. Okay, next problem. Uh, hot 15.6 liter of acetone was cooled down from 67 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius. What is the final volume of the acetone? So we are given uh, the beta for acetone. So from the formulas, we get the final volume of the acetone is 15.47 liters. Okay, number 3 problem. So your 1 liter glass flask is filled to the brim with alcohol at 283 Kelvin. If the temperature is raised to 303 Kelvin, how much alcohol is spills out of the flask? Okay, so we have here, uh, as the temperature increases, both the flask and the alcohol will expand. So let's solve for the change in volume in the alcohol and then the change in volume of the glass. So the spill should be the change in volume of the glass minus the change in volume of the alcohol. So we have 2.048 times 10 raised to negative 3 liters. Okay, the next topic is about heat. So heat is energy transferred from one system to another because of a difference in temperature. So the symbol for heat is Q and the unit is joule. but calorie is more commonly used. So, the conversion for 1 calorie is 4.186 joules. So, the US customary unit for heat is BTU or British Thermal Unit, which is equal to 252 calories or 1.054 kilojoule. So sometimes you can find these conversions in your calculator. So it depends on how advanced your calculator unit is. So heat, capacity, and specific heat. Okay, so when heat energy flows into substance, the temperature of substance rises. The amount of heat energy needed to raise the temperature of the substance is proportional to the temperature change and to the mass of the substance. So we have here Q is equal to mc delta T, wherein C is the heat. Uh, okay, we have here two formulas. So big C delta T, wherein the big C is heat capacity, and we also have small c delta T, wherein the small c is specific heat. So the heat capacity is heat energy required to raise temperature of a substance by 1 degree, while specific heat is heat capacity per unit mass. Okay. So the unit for the heat capacity is 1 calorie per gram times degree Celsius, or 1 kilocalorie per kilogram degrees Celsius, or 1 BTU per pound degrees Fahrenheit. The heat capacity per mole is called molar specific heat, or C prime, which is the heat capacity over the number of moles. So the number of moles is equal to mass over the molar mass. And then the C prime, or molar specific heat, is equal to as heat capacity times molar mass. Okay, for example, how much heat is needed to raise the temperature of a 3 kilogram of copper by 20 degrees Celsius? Okay, so very simple formula. Next is calorimetry. So calorimetry is the science of measuring the heat of chemical reactions or physical changes. Calorimetry combines method of mixtures and the law of heat exchange. The insulated water container is called a calorimeter, made of some metal with a defined specific heat. So the law of heat exchange states that the heat lost is equal to the heat. To measure the specific heat of any object conveniently, we have to first heat the object to some temperature, and then place it in a water bath of known mass and temperature, measure the final equilibrium temperature, and then make sure that the system is isolated from the environment. So with this, the law of heat exchange holds, that is, the heat leaving the object, or Q lost, is equal to the heat entering the water bath and container. So that is the heat gained. For example, to measure the specific heat of lead, you heat 600 gram of lead shot to 100 degrees Celsius and place it in an aluminum calorimeter of mass 200 gram that contains 500 gram of water initially at 17.3 degrees Celsius. If the final temperature of the mixture is 20 degrees Celsius, what is the specific heat of the lead? Okay. So this is the solution. So let's find the heat absorbed by the water and then find the heat absorbed by the container. Okay. So the heat given off by the lead is negative 48. Okay, negative 48 kilogram degrees Celsius. The negative sign implies that the heat is given off. And then let's find the heat absorbed by the water using also the formula. So mass mc delta T. So we have 5.643 kilojoule. And then the heat absorbed by the container, we also have 0.486 kilojoule. So we have here the heat lost is equal to the heat gain. So uh, our C for the lead is 0.128 kilojoule per kilogram degrees Celsius. Okay. So in the change of phase and latent heat, so when heat is added to ice at 0 degrees Celsius, the temperature of the ice does not change. Instead, the ice melts, or this is example of phase changes. So for the phase changes in solid to liquid and vice versa, we have fusion and liquefaction. So from liquid to gas and gas to liquid, we have vaporization and condensation. And then from solid to gas, we have sublimation. So during the phase change, the heat added or removed does not change the temperature of the substance. The heat involved in the change of phase is known as latent heat. So latent means hidden. So parang nakatago lang siya na heat. So ang formula ay mass times the latent heat. So yung Q natin is either added or removed. So, for example, how much heat do you need to heat 1.5 kilogram of ice at pressure of 180 atm from negative 20 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius? So, the Q total is the heat needed to heat ice plus the heat needed to transform ice to water at 0 degrees Celsius. So, ang dalawa yung i-involve natin dito. So, nag-combine na siya na formula. So, our total heat is 562.95 kilojoule.